up, people? Welcome back to the channel. So this is a video that I wanted to put out, pretty much talking about my opinion on the current top 5 best budget decks you could play. You know, it's pretty much like I'm probably gonna be putting out a couple of videos maybe every couple of weeks, every couple of months, because the format does change like very quickly. But this is just a quick list of decks that that I've kind of I didn't do too much research, so it it's obviously this is not including Typhon, not including SP Little Knight, but I do kind of realize that a lot of these cores kind of put you in a position where you could build competent versions of all these decks for under either $120 to about $150. So these are probably in more of the tier, maybe tier 2 to tier 3 budget, depending on which one you choose, how you do it. But we'll see how we'll see about you guys' opinion. If you like what you hear, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If not, it is all cool. We do videos like this all the time. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers, so please help us get there. Once we get there, I do plan to do a giveaway. Want to give away 2 TCG player gift cards, and I also want to sponsor a special tournament out my locals. Also, leave a cool comment down below, and if there's a comment that I like, I am going to shout you out in an upcoming video that I have. The first video that I'm going to be shouting people out in is going to be my 25th anniversary pack opening and discussion about the 25th anniversary, so look out for that one. And yeah, there's a couple of people that I already have to shout out, so look out for that one. Leave a cool comment down in this video or other videos that catches my eye, and I'll add you to that list. You will be, if you go on that list, you will be entered a chance to win something extra and very special when we get to 500. So let's go ahead and get into the list. Starting off with number 5. It's so this is pretty much the fifth best deck you could buy budget. This is, like I said, this is gonna be this is for sure under 150, but this is probably gonna be for more $120, $130 range. Well, I'm talking about, first one I want to talk about is Virtual World. So I really don't know too much about Virtual World, but something that I do understand is it does have the ability to not only do a pretty cool synchro spam, but you can put up the Kieran. Yes, I think it's, oh man, I probably butchering that. I'm hoping that one's right. I just had it right here, but I put it away. And that one pretty much acts as a macrocosmos for most of the cards, and most of the decks cannot deal with the macrocosmos. And just pretty much with that alone, like I said, I really don't know too much about the deck. I have seen a couple people use it, but at the same time, I kind of feel like Virtual World is in a position where Heroes were at one point, to where Heroes literally were one of the best rogue options because of Dark Law. Just having the ability to put out a floodgate like that, and then you also having a couple of extra things to kind of back it up was enough to make it a decent rogue strategy. So I do feel like Virtual World is one of the better lower tier budgets, especially if you know what you're doing with that deck. I've seen a lot of people do some cool stuff. So that's it for number 5. Number 4, it is Fire King Dogmatika. So I wanted to put this one a little bit higher, because this is the one that I'm personally working with. I'm probably gonna do a deck profile pretty soon. I'll take it to my locals, and then we'll see how I do. But I was kind of going back and forth on where I want to put this on the list, and I'm kind of looking at the build that I'm doing, and I'm gonna end up having to put a SP Little Knight in here to really make it at the level that I want it to be. I did have Typhon in there, but I'm not really liking how I feel with Typhon. I might actually leave it in depending on how I do in this tournament. But for sure, I think I'm gonna have to put an SP Little Knight. So I do feel like Fire King Dogmatika can be run for under 120, under 130. But if you want to put it over the edge and you really want it to compete in a regional level consistently, you are gonna need something like Typhon or SP Little Knight, which would kind of put it over. You also do need, like I said, it does take a certain kind of different play style. It isn't kind of these other decks where you're spamming a whole bunch. It's a different kind of spam and a different kind of setup. So Fire King Dogmatika, I decided to put it at number 4 because I really feel like it's really strong, but at the same time, it could just get completely just overshadowed by the other versions unless you run the right amount of hand traps. So that's kind of what I want to see, but I want to throw it in there because I do have a lot of faith in that deck. So number 3 for some of the better budget decks is Sword Soul. I decided to put Sword Soul right in the middle here because Sword Soul is always a deck that no matter who plays it, always just personally gives me problems. And especially now that Barone has been reprinted with all the hand traps, you pretty much have a really easy path to being able to build a full power Sword Soul deck with with all with every like every single extra deck, every single hand trap you could have, every even some of the more expensive cards. I wouldn't say like triple taxes like thrust or anything, but you would be able to have like talents plus all the hand traps plus any kind of little like extra techs, and you would have the full extra deck at full power. So Sword Soul is kind of one of those strategies where a lot of kind of new players could kind of like, especially if they play Master Duel and never haven't played Modern Yu-Gi-Oh, could kind of come in and paper Yu-Gi-Oh and have kind of similar success depending on how good they know the deck and like how they build it. So Sword Soul at number 3, I kind of feel cool about that one. Number 2, this one right here, I have like a little calculations right here because I was kind of going back and forth, and like I'm looking right in to build like a cool little version of this deck. It's very, very, very close. So but at the same time, if you run a bare bones version of this deck where you're just running pureness and you're just trying to get like the core of what this is supposed to be, and and still have kind of the extra stuff, Unchained kind of does come in at a deck where it is pushing it. I understand people might disagree, but Unchained is kind of in that in that area of $120 to $130 right now, to where if you, because I said I feel like I mentioned my market watch that those cards could go up, but it's like I said, also depends on how it is. I understand like the season hasn't started, but like right now for Yu-Gi-Oh, if you don't want to spend $300, $400, $500 on your deck, because I'm comparing it to the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh, where the Wanted engine by itself is like a $500 engine, and then just you add that to like any other deck, you're pretty much already in the $700 to like $800 range, depending on what you're adding, especially if you're running with SP Little Knight. So even some of the cheaper strategies, even some of like the lower end strategies with that engine is very expensive. So in comparison to that, Unchained, you can build a bare bones version with all like I said, you have all the extenders. You could have the DDD engine, you could have like the tour guide engine, and you could also, depending on like which versions you get of these hand traps, you could also have at least 6 to 9 hand traps, and then build yourself a competent side deck. Because a lot of this is also kind of somewhat including the side. Like this is like obviously not including super crazy side cards, but like I said, if like if things are common, Book of Moons, Book of Eclipses, things you could get for like like $1 or like under $1, or things you might get sets for $1, like or maybe like I said, or depending on the situation, like Unchained, this is probably not going to include like the side deck. This will be pretty much going to be like the main deck with the extra deck with a couple little extra things. And the number 1 budget deck right now, even though I have a bad relationship with this deck, both playing against it and playing with it, is Floowandereeze. Floowandereeze just has so many just positive things going for it. You have Shifter, you have M-Pen, you have the reprint of all the hand traps, making all that stuff available. You also have the reprint of the Harpy's Featherstorm, giving you like one of the best floodgate type effects in the game, which I gotta remember that for one of my videos. One of the best kind of like like floodgate type effects in the game. And man, it also kind of has like like the extra benefit of it is cheap enough to where you could run techs like Cross-Out Designator in your deck, to where even though those are like still like $10-11, if you could get like a set for $30, you could still buy all the hand traps you need plus the full Floowandereeze core. And then even like I said, depending on how much you're willing to pay, you can even have Prosperities and all the draw cards. All those cards can come for under $130. Like I said, if you're able to like build your core of Floowandereeze like with all the draw cards, the Prosperities for $100, then you could just the extra $30, if you could find someone to get you $10 a piece for the Cross-Out Designators, that right there is a pretty crazy deck, especially if you're able to kind of like like gauge your locals or kind of gauge the meta and be able to know which ones like which hand traps people are running the most, and you can kind of incorporate that. So those are my personal choices for like the top 5 budget decks for the for the current format. If you have like some other deck that that you want to mention, leave me down in the comments below. I know there's other really good options, like you have like Orchist, you have some like runic strategies and all that stuff. So I'll probably do like a part 2. I didn't incorporate any like runic stuff right now because I was kind of looking at it, and it seems like runic like the runic engine starting to go up, so I didn't kind of get a chance to kind of just do some like quick calculations. So there'll probably be a part 2 being released pretty soon that'll include some like some other decks, so be on the lookout for that. All right guys, peace out, and I'll catch you in the next one.